Jerry Lewis is a legend in his own time, in his own mind. I don't know, I really want to say that. We're going to talk about his book, his life. Let me show you the cover, because now you can see the real thing. Who's here with me? Jerry Lewis.
In person is the name of the book, and I'm here in person also. I'll be a son of a gun.
In person. Now, you know, you and I could see, I'm going to ignore all this stuff because the book's a very serious book.
Well, don't ignore this stuff. This is the stuff that helps me make a living.
I know, you need the flame. Where do you get those lighters, by the way?
In a very big flame factory.
From Mount St. Helens? They have a gift shop there?
You don't get them anymore.
Jerry, now come on.
Okay.
I think for the first time I read here the answer to the question you always ask about muscular dystrophy, why you got involved.
Well, I really don't want to talk about that, Joe, and I hoped you would mention it because I have to make it very clear to the viewer that I'm here making a tour to sell this book. This is a profit-making venture on my part. I want to make a lot of money for myself selling a lot of books.
You already have a lot of money. What are you talking about?
I ain't got enough. And I want to be sure that you understand, as well as the public, that I do not like to convolute the two issues. What I do relative to the association is strictly based on a voluntary act. This is for profits. I really don't want to crisscross or have it appear that I'm stopping this book with use of that information.
Well, no, in other words, you don't want to talk about MD at all.
I don't want to talk about it at all. It's
Even
the first time in more than half of my lifetime that I've put that on the back burner, but I have to.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about a tangential issue to that, which is the media. Tangential.
Now, there's got to be, that means something, right? What does that word mean?
Means next to, going along at the same time.
Why did you say next to, going along the same time?
Because that's 4 words, I could use one.
Right, I'll never forget that.
An economy of words.
A trangestual. They made a picture.
Do you remember your vocational school, the word tangent?
What?
Pay attention, come on. I forgot what I was going to say to you.
That's
see what
you're
doing?
Try to concentrate.
Would you light a cigarette, please?
Look,
give me a little break
don't
here.
Be ashamed that you're thrilled having a famous Jewish movie star on your little tacky program. Everybody gets that excited.
Listen, I'm so excited I can hardly contain myself. You really have a bad feeling about the media in this country.
Some of
present company excluded.
Some of the media.
Yeah, why?
Very important.
But do you think
what
you
do
really
mean,
get?
why?
Well, but come on. Do you think you really get hurt worse than anyone else in showbiz?
Are you really thinking that my battle with some of the media is relative to the way they criticize me? No.
I don't know.
Why don't you pay attention?
I pay attention, but I think you take it too seriously.
I beg your pardon. An incompetent that is inaccurate and writes for a newspaper that presumably is a credible one. How do you ignore that? How do you ignore that when you say, I truly believe that Yasser Arafat has a point of view in his world, just as Menachem Begin has? Now, he prints Jerry Lewis pro-Arafat and stops. What well how would you like it to be Joe Averill, et cetera, et cetera? How would you respond? Would you just ignore that?
Well, of course. Well, I don't know, but
how do you think you would feel if a newspaperman in this town today says, I happen to know that Joe Averill was and is still a part of the Communist Party? Would you just ignore that or get on the phone and say, hell, that's inaccurate, and I'm going to sue you?
Yeah. Do you think your personality has, here's another big word coming, elicited or caused?
Elicited is not that big a word.
Okay, well, I didn't know.
Of course I provoke it. There's no question about it, because I will not sit still for it. And you know the way I am. If I'm going to get challenged, I challenge back. The problem with some of the media is that they're used to performers in my particular field and people like myself taking the heat because, hey, that's part of the game. I don't play those games, Joe. I've done very well, and I've done well for one reason. I got a lot of talent, and you can't take it away from me. I got a big mouth, a point of view, and I'll rip into anyone I think that's ripped and deserved it. What's wrong with that? I'm the exception. You see, if more of my colleagues would take positions, important ones, like what's going on now with wonderful nuclear fission, just great, you know. They all have points of view in their little quiet clutches in restaurants in Hollywood. But get on a show like this and open your mouth. I hear them with a strong point of view that we've got to stop the nuclear proliferation, right? And they make great pronouncements. They come on a show like this, and if it comes up, oh yeah, that's something important.
As I read the book, I thought back when you were developing what became your greatest success, your image, how there must have been a lot of people saying, you shouldn't do that, Jerry. Here's the way you be successful. It must have taken some, in most people who become really famous, a very strong will to persevere as to what you think is what you best do and what you best are. And there's always a retinue of people around, and you have your retinue of people around, you used to anyway, who are all yes-sayers to you, nod their heads in unison when you say anything, laugh at all your jokes.
You've never seen that around me.
Oh, there's people who want to ingratiate themselves to you.
Yeah, but you know better. You know that I see through them, and if they are there, they're not there long.
Yeah. But still, it takes a strong person to see through that and look for the guy standing in the back saying, no.
That's right.
You must have had some people.
I don't
like
need
that.
the guys standing in the back saying no. I don't need the yeses. I told you once in a discussion we had that the moment I'm wrong or the minute I do a bad job, the inner government tells me when I'm perfect and right on the money, I also don't need anyone to pat my back or applaud. I know. The satisfaction is instantaneous, as well as the punishment for dogging it or a bad performance. So all of that you're talking about, I think comes on the dinner. But if you're smart enough to observe and place it in its proper perspective, it cannot hurt you. But too many people in my business have suffered from enjoying being an airhead, and they should really examine introspectively what they are before they start judging those around them, and they may wind up as at peace with themselves and with the kind of esteem that I have for myself. Yeah. See, it comes off as overly confident, cocky, egotistical.
Wiseacre.
And whatever else the dissenters call it, but I call it the thing you wait your whole life for, when you never have to look in a mirror, because I know what's there. And I enjoy what I've become. I'm proud of what I've been able to do, and I'm doubly proud of what I feel I am. Now, the day that you can say that publicly and privately, particularly when you enjoy your own company, which takes years to have happen, and you know you've done good work, and every motivation was for no other reason than exactly what it looks like, and you're at peace with yourself, you can then be as strong as you have to be to cut through the dissenters and challenge whoever you choose and be a very happy man.
As we see you this October 1982, are you at peace with yourself?
You bet. Absolutely. It's nice to be clear.
First time in a long time, huh?
Well, it takes a long time. I don't think you can push it. You wish at 40 you had the information that you have at 56, and at 56 I can't wait for 60, because if this is the growth and development, I'm going to be David Niven. I'm going to be like Douglas Fairbanks Jr. with pure white hair, and all of the young people will come to me with gifts like to the Buddha for advice.
Now, for everybody watching who'll ask me later, you don't dye your hair.
No, the gray is coming in.
I see a little gray.
Yeah, it's coming.
But for 56,
dye my hair,
you don't
nuts.
look bad.
And this is not anyone's but mine. The 2 holes I couldn't do anything about. They've been there for years.
All right. Now, don't get too silly. We'll end.
Don't get too silly. Why don't you get Bishop Sheen on your program?
Now I'm going to have a psychiatrist next.
Okay.
I'm going to talk. Jerry, thanks.
You just had one. You don't know it.
You're right.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. We'll be right back.